Hello and welcome back. We are continuing our series of Python and SQL tutorials. We're working on our database synchronization, and we've worked our way up to triggers. We looked at store procedures, looked at functions, and now we started looking at it last time. Looked at what triggers sort of look like, and we're going to see if we can do that for our, so we can use that to create our triggers. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do, let's see. So we've got our triggers, and we're going to do where event object schema equals, because we need to make sure that we've got that right. Here, well, let's do trigger schema. So we definitely need to get our database, which is there. And that's probably it for right now. So let's take that over. What we'll do is we're going to end up, let's see, let's do it like this. Go ahead and pull this guy here. Whoops, like that. And then what we'll probably do is we'll specify a little bit better what we're working with. Here's where we get a little further down. So we're going to go through each one again, and we're going to do it by the name, which is going to be, so trigger underscore name is going to be first. Let's just do this. It doesn't like that. That's not valid, but we'll fix it in a minute. Oh, well, let's just get rid of that anyways. Okay, so we're going to have that. So that'll give us our names. And now we're going to say, need to create trigger. And so let's see if we can get away with simply, where did we start our, need to create query, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. So here's where we start. So what we want to do, whoops, is create a replace trigger. And I'm using this little, let's do it like this, so we can see it a little better. Maybe not. So I'm going to use this. So we're going to do create a replace trigger. Not Tigger, but trigger. And then we're going to give it its source name, which is whatever the name is. And the source name, so proc name, we're going to have to take a look at that. Now what we've got here is, we probably want to keep that source name. We didn't do it here, but it really, because I think we can make it tutorial dot, we can do something like that. So what we probably want to do is leave our source name, our trigger name, which is, proc name is going to be 0, so that's that. Now we've got to do this before update. So what we can see here, there's the event manipulation, and and there's an action timing. So let's sort of look at this. What we need is trigger name, comma, action timing, and it was what, before update? Before update on address. Okay, so that's going to be the table. Okay, so what we're going to need is we're going to need our whoops, where did I see that before? That was the action timing. Okay. And then I need event manipulation. Manipulation. And I need to spell that right. And let's go ahead and get that. But now we're also going to need, we need the object table. We know we're going to need that. And then we're going to need, what do we need next? Let's see, for each row. And so what we're probably going to see is, yeah, whoops, that's loud. No, let's see. So I don't think we need that. I think we just need each row. So it's going to be for each, and we need action orientation. Orientation. And then we need the command, which is going to be the action statement. So that should be, well, let's do it this way, because we don't want to lose our little piece there. So we go back up to our query. Is that right? Yep. So that's our trigger schema. That's our trigger schema, which I assume is not here anywhere. Well, it is, but then do we need... Yeah, I think we do need that. So let's leave that. So we're going to do create or replace, source name, and then this is going to be, whoops, this does not need that. Instead, it needs a space because we give it the name, and then we're going to give it, it's not actually proc name, but that's okay. Let's see. Oh, we want it in parm row. Okay. So this is going to be, is that right? Nope, we don't want parm row. We don't need that. We don't need that. We do need, let's make sure this is right. So source proc name and procs. Okay, so that's, okay. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to do that plus, now we're going to have to sort of walk our way through this one a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is the action timing. So that gives us, for example, before plus space plus the event manipulation. And then this is going to be, let's do this, proc SQL equals proc SQL plus. So now we've got, let's see, for update, so this is going to be on, and then we've got to give it our name, which is going to be 3. Which is 1, let's see, trigger name 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, which is the event object table. Cool, we got that. And then this is going to be plus for each, and then we're going to have to give it that scope, which is the action orientation. And then we're going to add a space, let's do it this way. And then after that, we do a space, and we do the statement itself, which is 5. And that should do it. So let's try that. Let's see. So we don't need a var cursor anymore, and let's not worry about executing it. Let's not worry about executing it. And let's do that. So let's come down here. We're going to do our missing triggers. Here's missing index, missing functions, missing procedures. Let's move this up a little bit. And this is going to be missing triggers. And that should all be good. That should be good. We're going to spell this right. And then if we run it, oh, I'm in the wrong place there. Now if I come in and run it, let's see what happens. Bam. Okay, so we came in here and we've got something here. Start missing triggers, command query, blah, 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 462. Okay. Oops, what did we miss? Oops, so if we go to 137, oops, that's what we don't need. Let's try that. Let's go back and try this real quick. Did we do that right? Oh. Okay, so it's getting us something. Let's try it again. There we go. So now, first trigger is going to be create or replace that guy, and then the second we're going to do it. So let's see if those execute. That looks good. And let's see if that runs. Boom. Those were created. Let's see if it does nothing this time, and it does nothing this time. So now we have provided our triggers. That gives us a solid piece of work here. Let's see, I don't need any of that. I don't need those notes. I will be updating this stuff. Got indexes. Now, the challenge is going to become here when we deal with our rows. Now, with our current database, we're going to go through and we're just going to blow stuff away. And so let's see if that even works right now. So if we do it and we say, let's take the whole thing that we were working with. Let's see. I don't think I have any more quits. I'll make sure before I go too far. Good. Okay, I don't have any more quits. There's no quit in this. And so now we're going to see, which it looks like it's doing pretty good. We're getting through here. I probably don't need all of those insert statements. Let's see. Let's do, when I do sync rows, let's see. So I don't want to print the insert statement. I just want to print let's do it here. Let's do data sync 4 and then give it a table. And so we're going to tweak this a little bit. Oh, here we go. So now we're getting some more stuff. And again, not really seeing any errors, so it's looking good. The challenge becomes in two cases. One is when we have data that is linked, that is where you've got some sort of foreign key relationship, because you cannot delete the parent before you delete the child. So we have to, in that case, if we're going to do something like that, if we're going to actually delete, then what we're going to need to do is we're going to have some way to essentially find those foreign key relationships and then walk the key. And so let's put these in our notes here. We'll have a little bit of notes here. Notes for data sync. So one is we need to figure out how to walk the foreign key ladder, basically. That's called hierarchy. Is this thing still going? Oh yeah, it's still going. Oh, it's just way down there. There we go. So it looked like it all ran, which is good. But now we're going to figure out how to walk the foreign key hierarchy. We need to figure out, and that's for, that cases. And then we also need to do how to, let's say, import related data for a table. Max rows won't work because, for example, let's say we only take the first 10 rows. And let's say we have 15 users, but they only use, or actually let's say we have 10 users and they use, across them, they have 15 addresses. So when you do a limit of rows, which, if you go back to what we did, when we did this, we just did, let's see if we look at sync columns, sync data, or sync rows, we just came in and we did this limit. So we did the rows and we did a limit. And remember, we started at the most recent stuff. However, that could cause us problems because we could have a situation where we are limiting our rows and we're losing data that we need. Those 10 customers may need 15 addresses. Or what would be a bigger problem is we grab 10 addresses, but we don't grab them for the right customers. And depending on how that relationship works, then of course that would break. So what we're probably going to need to do is provide a couple of different ways. And we'll take this down here. So we're going to do multiple ways. If I can spell it right, multiple ways to limit data moved, because we're going to have to think through that one, and that's going to be a non-trivial little piece of work. One of the things I also want to do is, which will probably come sooner, is generalize, extract the key functions, and provide a different, let's say, a way to walk multiple databases. Because we're going to see this at times as well. So we want to be able to, this is one of those things, sort of clean up. Is we're going to pull some of this stuff out. We're going to clean a couple of these things up. And we probably want, along with that, is we're going to have some parameters. Let's see, command line parameters for what to sync. And so now we're starting to get a little more complicated here. And then let's see, with the data, yeah, we'll probably go with that for now. So these are some things coming up. Wanted to sort of list these out and just do them as part of this. So we had a nice little quick kind of episode here for triggers. And we're going to start getting into the complicated stuff next. And how can we possibly do some of these things? And probably we're going to start, maybe we'll pull some stuff out first, but I think one of the first things we're probably going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out this foreign key hierarchy. Is we're going to have to figure out like what are the tables that do not have anything that rely on them, and then figure out what are the parents and the children and the grandchildren and such and so forth. We've actually seen some of that already. We've got some of that information. It's just we're going to have to actually think through it and do it in a little bit more intentional approach. That being said, I think it's time to wrap this one up. So go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time.